Packers fans, how we doing? It's the Hook Cam back with another film breakdown. Hey, first off, the Packers fan community has been so supportive and so kind and generous and helping. I can't thank you guys enough. I'm from California, so I never really interacted with a ton of Packers fans, but you guys are awesome. So I just want to get that off my chest because I've been able to kind of talk to a couple of you guys, and you guys have all just been so cool. So, again, last time we talked about the Packers, we were looking at McCarthy's third down. We were looking at kind of what LaFleur did and what Hackett did and how that could translate to this Packers offense. And I think last night, after checking out some highlights, and again, I could only watch the first half because I was working during the game, I think we saw a little bit of that. I was actually pleasantly surprised that I kind of got something right. So with this, this first play, 3rd and 8 inside your own 20, inside your own 15, tough down to work with, right? They go into this bunch, right? Get this defense close together, man. Create traffic. Again, it's DeShone Kizer back there, so it's not going to be the greatest of quarterback play, but I think that there's definitely a little bit of potential with this kid. But all that's going to happen here, if we look to this play side, is we're going to get a high-low on this, kind of on the safety, but really just against this coverage, we're getting a high-low. And all that means is that you're going to stretch the coverage low and you're going to stretch the coverage high. So with number 1 here, we're going to get kind of like a dig that he kind of rolls into. Number 2 is going to run some sort of a whip route to keep this corner responsible. But really a good route from number 1 down here, right? A really good release off the line, actually. Take a look at this. He gives him a couple of steps to the outside, so he turns those hips, gets inside on him, breaks that thing off with enough space to make a play on this football. That was a good route. Up top with this route combination, we're going to have a curl from number 2, and then it looks like we're going to have a vertical from number, that's going to be a deep out from number 1. So, again, you're just kind of stressing this defense. They're going to go man on you. They're going to go cover 1. Well, they're going to do stuff like this, right? They're going to clear out with that number 2 guy. We got the backer responsible with this back coming to the flat, and it's just going to be one-on-one with a receiver. So right off the bat, I think we see a little bit of what we were talking about in that last video with that man beater. So we'll dive into more of it here in just a sec. Next play on this, right, we're going to get the exact same formation from the Packers. Exact same formation. Now, personally, I like doing this because you showed the Texans one thing on the last formation. You line up in the exact same thing. Now you motion your H-back across the formation, confirming to Kizer that this is man coverage. That's all it's doing. And it's also going to bring this cornerback up and press the single receiver. That's one of the rules when you're running man or cover 3. You'll see if there's an isolated receiver, this cornerback's basically going to treat it like man. It's an ISO'd up play, right? If you got a better athlete down here, you pick it all day. Now, just a little preview for this. DeShone Kizer gets a little bit skittish with this, and I think he takes off a little too early. I feel like he needs to trust this route a little bit more. But just watch this route and remember the plays that I showed you with LaFleur, because this is what LaFleur likes to do, right? We're getting that bunch. We're stressing this defense, right, with a whip route down low. I believe we get a vertical from number 3, and then from number 2, we get an in route, right? We get like a post almost. So it's going to be a vertical. We're going to get a post, and then we're going to get like a whip route from number 3. And again, you're just trying to stress this defense. Now, this is like a true high-low on a defense, and you're putting safeties in a bind. DeShone Kizer's getting a little bit of pressure, absolutely. And we're getting a little bit of a defensive holding down here from this cat. If he's not holding on that, I think that we probably can complete that ball. But again, we're just trying to look at, what's the creativity with this play calling? What are they trying to do on 3rd down? How are they trying to help out your quarterback? And I think that a lot of Packers fans, and it's the same thing with, it'll be the same thing with like Chiefs fans and Patriots fans. It's like, yes, you have these great quarterbacks, but does that mean you just dump all the pressure on them? Does that mean you just dump the entire game plan on their shoulders? No, you have to try and help them out. You have to try and establish your running game. Give them route combos that are going to free up space and make it easy throws for them. Aaron Rodgers can make every throw on the field. There's no doubt about that. One of the most talented quarterbacks in NFL history. But you got to help him out. And stuff like this will help him out for sure, right? If this dude can break that post, and we got those cornerback hips turned toward this route, and we can break that over the top, he can make that throw 10 times out of 10, right? And DeShone Kizer got a lot of growing. Obviously, he's got a lot of learning to do. He's still a young quarterback, but Anyway, I'm rambling now. You guys understand what I'm saying. This is kind of the same stuff that we saw with LaFleur when he was coaching down in Jacksonville and, or excuse me, Tennessee. And it's a little bit like Hackett did when he was in Jacksonville. So anyway, moving on to the next play. All right, fellas, next play that I wanted to get into here. 3rd and 4. Packers giving him a 3-by-1. Obviously, it's going to be man again, as we can tell. But what ends up happening on this play is we're getting kind of an all slants look, right? And I understand why Deshaun Kaiser goes where he goes with this rock. It's not a bad read. All that happens on this is we're getting a slant from number 1. Back's running out to the flat, which is going to take this flat defender away, and it's going to open up a window right here. I think the ball's just there a little bit too late. As you can see, he's got to throw it literally just like a half second earlier. But what I like about this, right, is that there's options to go to on this play. Now, again, I don't know what exactly his reads are. I would imagine if it's isolated receiver like we have down at the bottom and it's man coverage with this backer, that you got to hit the slant right now. But up top, right, you have the same thing where you have basically a double slant, and this, what they call the second window, is opening up for him right there. That's another spot that you can go with the rock. Okay, and again, if let's say that this backer gets picked, you can tighten your splits with this guy and then run the same thing, and your back will leak out into the flat. That's another option for you to go with. Okay, now the ball isn't completed, but the schematics are there, right? The schematics are there, and it's simple stuff. But these are throws in with a quarterback that you have that he can make, and with the offense that you have with the receiving weapons that they can catch. So again, what I like about it is the fact that there's options with this. It's not, you know, running slot outs against the Rams and you got to make a throw to the opposite hash. There's creativity. There's ways that you can go with this ball, and there's more options than just one. So again, I like what's happening here, and this is actually a great view of it. Okay, so watch here. If you're playing quarterback or your coach and the middle of the field's wide open, so now I totally understand why he looked there. Back's coming out to the flat, which is going to take this cat away, right? And the receiver's going to come into your screen here any second. That ball's just got to be a little bit sooner. That's the only thing, a little bit sooner. So, and then the other reason why you would throw to the second window is because this backer right here has to stay in front of number 3. That's his rule. And by number 3, I mean the number 3 receiver. So you can see he opens up. He tries to stay in front of number 3. And that's why number 2 over here, that second window would open up. So again, options to go with the rock, and that's what I think is a step in the right direction for these Green Bay Packers. All right, fellas, next play here, 3rd and 7. Again, we're seeing anything 3rd and 5 plus, 3rd and 6 plus. We're seeing this tight look, right? This it's kind of like a tight bunch, I would say. Actually, bunch is technically 3 receivers, so it's really just a tightened look from the 2x2 set. So with this now, we got cover 2 from the Texans. We're going to get up top, we're going to get a curl from number 1, and then we're going to stretch the field vertically with number 2. And then down at the bottom here, we're basically going to get the same thing, except for it's going to be a curl for kind of like a whip route that goes inside from number 2 and stretching the field vertically from number 1. Technically, he makes the right read because that flat defender is taken up and there's space to work with down here. I would have preferred for him to go up top, but I understand why he didn't since it's cover 2. But you just got to trust your arm and hum this thing in there if you're playing Q. But again, what we're seeing here, guys, is we're giving the quarterback options. There are a number of options you can go with this football, right? You've got probably a post from number 1 down here. If he clears, he might have that open. This curl up top, if he's staring it down, he could get that ball in there. This reverse whip route that we got running to the inside, that's really not there. But again, if that linebacker overplays it, that'll be there. And then he just makes a smart throw trying to check it down, which is, again, technically the right throw. So you can't rip him on that. But again, guys, we're seeing the options. We're seeing the steps in the right direction with the schematics of this Packers offense. And it'll be fun to watch this year. Next play here, the next 3rd down that the Packers faced, they do something that I absolutely love and something that's super positive about this coaching staff. So last 3rd down, we saw cover 2 out of the Texans in that 2x2 set. LaFleur comes back, or Hackett, whichever one's calling the plays. They come back and they give the Texans again a 2x2 set, and again we got cover 2. So what they call is they're going to call it all 4 verts, all verticals. If you played NCAA or Madden, you know exactly what I'm talking about, okay? We're going all verticals here. And at this point, if you're playing quarterback, pick a guy, right? You got the safeties are going to tell you who's open. Deshaun Kaiser does a good job throwing this thing right over the top to number 2 down low, because that safety looks like he takes off and tries to help out bracketing number 1, who 16's been killing it for the Packers recently, so I understand that. But Deshaun Kaiser basically just picks a guy. Pick a side of the field and pick a guy, because the safety can only take one, if that makes sense, right? Safety's going to be able to take one of the 2 guys. A good ball, but again, what this shows you is that it's an advancement, right? We know you know after the last 3rd down, okay, they went cover 2 when we started running that tight stuff. Let's see if they run it against the spread, the 2x2 spread set. They do. Okay, we got 4 verts dialed up. You're good to go. Right, this is a great play call, and again, I know that we're in preseason. I don't want to get everybody too fired up, but this is a good call, and this is something that a lot of coaches should do. I'm sure that Mike McCarthy did his fair share of this, but really good to see out of a first-year head coach like LaFleur and out of Hackett as well. So this is good stuff. A really good job from the Packers here, and again, exciting to see. Hey fellas, last play here that I want to break down for you guys. Again, we're seeing this tight look out of 2x2. All that's going to happen here is we're going to get a mesh, and then we're going to get a scramble drill. So with mesh, right, the way that you run mesh, right, is you're going to have your 2 outside guys in this situation run the mesh route, okay? You're going to have number 2 here run up, and he's going to do a dig, and you kind of try and high-low the backer, and then you're going to have your other cat just stretch the field vertically. So as we get through this thing, I like this because the ball should be out right now. That's where the ball should go, and it's a 1st down, good to go, live to fight another down. Preseason, and this is, I guess this is kind of Rodgers-esque, where he kind of breaks the pocket. 10 does a great job with his scramble drill, just getting vertically, finding space. Decent ball for him to throw on. And, you know, all in all, ends up in 6, and it's, like I said, it's preseason, so not the biggest deal in the world, but again, 3rd and 4, you're running mesh, you're trying to create traffic. Now, something else that's happening to this defense as they're going here, you've run this 2x2 tight formation so much, and it causes the defense to run into each other, causes that traffic. So look what they have to do now. You have to back up. You have to let this thing kind of develop in front of you, and then try and rally and make a tackle. And that's exactly what happens here. So again, I think that Kaiser off his first read should hit 13 as he settles there. And again, just so that you guys know, mesh, when you see guys shut the mesh, is an option route essentially, right? If it's man coverage, let's say that it's man coverage, he's going to keep this thing going to the sidelines. If it's zone like it is, he's supposed to shut this thing down before the defender, right? And the ball should be here right now. That's how it should work, okay? Kaiser uses his legs, breaks out, and again, we kind of covered that already. So anyway, that's it for this video. I think that we saw some good progression from these Packers, man. The 3rd down play calling looks good. I'm digging it. So I think that it'll be, like I said before, it's going to be exciting to watch this year. Thank you guys for all your support. Like I said earlier, I can't thank you guys enough. You all have been awesome. So I'm the Hook Cam. Please like and subscribe. There's going to be a lot more videos. Share my stuff, just trying to get my content out there. And thank you guys for being so welcoming in that Packer community. And that's all I got, fellas. I'll see you next time.